Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to your daily tarot reading for Tuesday, December 31st, 2020. The final reading for this year and actually for this decade. So let's see what the energy is all about for our New Year's Eve. What we might be doing, what we might want to consider, and some factions that we may want to put into our daily activities and our daily responses in order to make our day a little bit more fruitful and a lot more smooth. So let's get these cards shuffled up and let's see where we're going. All right, I think we'll do this a couple of times just to make sure they're shuffled nicely. There we go. All right, so let's put our first pile down. There we go. And our second pile. And finally, our third pile. And I'm kind of feeling the vibe towards this first pile today, so let's see what we have for a card, shall we? Okay, we have the Six of Chalices. Let's look a bit about this Minor Arcana card. All about our daily responses, some of the things that we're considering, some of the ways that we respond to situations. In other words, empowerment that we have for our day and for our situations in life. So when we look at the Six of Chalices, it's also known as the Six of Cups. It all is relative to what deck that you use. I've said that a million times, but I like to keep it fresh each time I pull a card. So when we look at this, this is kind of like the epitome of cards for New Year's Eve. It's all about childhood memories. It's about past influences. It's about nostalgia and thinking about the past. Maybe about reunions as well. About creativity, kindness, goodwill, simplicity, immaturity even. But sharing and family and support, protection. And looking at, as I said earlier, our past and feeling nostalgic about that, as well as childhood memories, and sometimes even childhood issues. So this is a good time also to work with the shadow self. So when we look at the general context for today, some of the things that we may want to keep in mind is you may find yourself really focusing on the past. Maybe the recent past, maybe the distant past. Focusing on childhood memories, maybe memories of past New Year's Eve and past years gone by, and some of the people that are no longer with us as we go into this new year. Understand everything that happened in our past has influenced where we are today. The people we've met, good and bad, the experiences we've had, good and bad. Every part of our past has molded us into the person that we are today. So no matter what we've gone through in our past, we need to be thankful for these lessons. Some of them were great, and it really propelled us forward and makes us smile when we think about it. Others, maybe we cringe just a little bit on the inside of not the outside. But again, those are lessons that we were meant to learn, and that's what helped us create who we are today. And in 10 years from now, we'll be looking at this year and thinking about how we've changed dramatically over the past decade again. So some of the other things that this card can represent from a general context is playfulness and simplicity, and maybe just spending time with really close friends and family, both for support as well as for celebration, as well as just to be around them and just enjoy that energy. And in some cases, as I said a little bit earlier, this card can represent some of the things that's happened to us in our past that make us still cringe today. And those are the things, as I said earlier, we want to work through with our shadow self, which I'll talk a little bit about towards the end of the reading. Now, from a love and a relationship standpoint, it's all about that feeling of nostalgia, some of the things that you guys may have done when you first met. And that could be with best friends as well as significant others. It can also be about some people in your immediate circle having some childlike or immature responses to situations. And if that's the case and it drives you nuts, then what you need to do is step back and try to work with them on what it is in their past that's unresolved, which causes this type of response to situations. or at least be mindful of why they're responding this way, which will make it ever so slightly less maddening for you. Some other things that may come to mind is, especially on New Year's Eve, some of your past and some of your past partners may influence your relationship and may even cause arguments. You may be in situations where, what did you do last year and who were you with type of thing, if you're in a new relationship. That being said, to be honest, it's better to be honest and go through whatever rough patch there is than it is to be dishonest and put a lot more energy into something that doesn't matter, that could actually affect something that really matters to you now. And now, from a money and a career standpoint, some of the things that you want to consider is creativity and working on team projects with other people. Along with that, a good thing to always keep in mind is sharing is caring. So it's a good idea to share some creative ideas. It's a good idea to share some of your hard work if you've got a group of people that you're working with to get to that final goal. And from a relationship standpoint, as far as with your physical realm, finances, work, that sort of thing, it's all about being charitable. Maybe charitable with responses that you may have with situations, as well as charitable with understanding, because at work, there may be some people on your team that may not be up to 100%. And it could be because of this same energy, feeling nostalgic, being really upset by some things from their past, being really sad about some people from their past that are no longer with them on this New Year's Eve. So it's most important to really sit around and really consider some of the things that other people may be going through, because sometimes we sort of forget that. Now, we talked about working with our shadow self, and we talked about what it is all about. So when we look at the shadow self and we look at some of the situations, and trust me, this is just going to be a really quick synopsis. It's all about how you affect the future by what has happened to you in the past. In other words, we may have triggers that people can really push buttons on with us and make us respond badly. The situation that we need to start doing is understanding those triggers and why they happen. I know for me, one of my triggers is someone that really chews loudly and chews with their mouth open, whether it be gum, whether it be food, a lot of different things. It drives me mad. Now, back in the day, I would respond to that in probably not the best user-friendly manner. However, what I've learned to do is focus on, well, what is going on with this and why is this happening, and try to understand the circumstance. And it still drives me a bit crazy. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But what I do now is I excuse myself from the situation and move forward into another area where I don't hear that sound. Now, that's a really simplistic example, and that was purposefully chosen because I'm not going to get into really deep stuff in a really short video. Maybe for 2020, I'm going to start doing some of that with you guys as well. Talk about some things that we can do actively to improve our circumstance and our responses to circumstances based upon self-work and shadow work, and using the tarot to help us understand and get through some of the things that we do. So, this was an extra long reading, but it is the last reading for the decade, so I think it's a great thing to be able to finish the year off with. I do hope you enjoyed this reading. I do hope you come back tomorrow, and I hope that 2020 brings each and every one of you a wonderful, safe, and happy year. And for all you guys that may be going out tonight to do New Year's Eve celebration, please, I beg you, your family begs you, hell, your pets beg you, do not ever drink and drive. If you've had a couple of drinks, if you're feeling a little tipsy, if you're feeling a little buzzed, do not drive. Have someone drive you, get an Uber, take public transportation, walk, do whatever you need to do. But for the love of everything that loves you, please do not be a drunk driver. Until tomorrow, I wish you all the best, and be healthy, and of course, be blessed.